Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, episode number 31, the show where I give you my opinion on some of the biggest stories in the world of cord cutting. There has been a good amount of news, from the new Fire TV to PBS looking coming to streaming services, finally. But hey, these are my opinions on some of the biggest stories in the world of cord cutting from the past week. We're working on a lot of stuff, so a few updates here. I bought the wrong microphone. Yeah, I thought I bought it for the right model of camera. I didn't. So hey, one more week with the old microphone, new microphone coming, hang in there. Number two, a lot of big things coming in the world of cord cutting. If you are not subscribed to our newsletter, leave a link down below. Amazon Prime Days next month. We're going to have a special edition. We do a daily and a weekly newsletter. I'll include both, depending which one you want. There is going to be some special giveaways coming up. So check out that newsletter. Hit that subscribe button if you want cord cutting news delivered to your email box every morning. It's 100% free. Unsubscribe at any time. But let's dive into these stories. Again, my opinion, if you want to learn more about these stories, links in the show notes. Right off the bat, though, we have to talk about the new Fire TV Cube. This came out yesterday. I have a full review posted over at cordcuttersnews.com, and I'll link to it in the show notes, video, and a few written ideas along with it. A few things. I like it. It's a Fire TV pendant, basically. The Fire TV 3 processor, everything, but it includes a built-in IR blaster to control your TV, turn on and off. It includes a echo for voice control, so you can just say hands-free, no need to pick up the remote and control it. It does include the voice remote button on your it's a pretty standard Fire TV remote, nothing different from any of the others right now. But you can now say, hey, Echo, or whatever your keyword is, launch HBO Now. Oh, play King of the Hill. Turn on the TV. Turn off the TV. Turn the volume up. Now, that's a pretty cool. I know Roku has announced a similar device coming out this fall. They announced it back at CES. Maybe saying, Luke, I could just pick up the remote. What I really like about this is there's a lot of people who are missing arms, legs, have injuries that make it hard to hold a remote. This kind of really opens up the world to them. So I think that's really cool. The accessibility to be able to just walk in a room, let's say you're hard of sight, you can't see it. You may be able to pick up the remote, but just be able to, come in a room and say, turn the TV on. And, some people with sight maybe think, why would they want that? But hey, just hearing the TV shows is still fun. And having a really good voice control system there, wirelessly, no remote needed, completely hands-free, is going to open the Fire TV up to even more people. I know that the button on it was great, but if you're missing fingers, even having the button on the remote is a little difficult. So I think it's pretty cool that they built the Echo into it. There is some minor tweaks on the OS. Overall, it's pretty much exactly the same. The minor tweaks include, like when the cards come up, they look a little different when you talk to your Echo and ask for the weather sports. It's a full screen instead of a smaller screen, and a few other very minor tweaks. Past that, this is almost, OS-wise, almost 99.9998% identical to the Fire TV pendant, the Fire TV 2 user interface. Performance-wise, almost identical to the Fire TV pendant. If you want to look at the side-by-side videos where I see them going off, I have a link down there. Slightly, every now and then slower, and I think that's because the processors are basically the same, but the Fire TV Cube includes a built-in Echo, which allows you to do the voice commands, but that's probably sucking just a tiny bit of processing power, resulting in some slightly different performances. So who knows? Software tweaks, software updates will be coming. I've heard a few add-ons. Somebody told me the HD Home Run had a few issues. I've heard other people say other similar devices have had issues, or a few apps here and there. I have not experienced any of that. I can't reproduce that. Have you? Have you had any issues? Did you get the Fire TV Cube? Have you noticed anything? In my experience, it's run well. My complaint... Sorry, it is not even 8 a.m. and I need my coffee. My only complaint is it comes with a micro USB adapter for Ethernet. So there's a micro USB port on the back, but no Ethernet adapter. I kind of wish it had an Ethernet adapter. Even if it would make it a little bit bigger, the Fire TV Cube is really meant, and they always say this when you open it up, to be in front of your TV, front and center for you to be seen. There is an IR blaster, but with the voice controls, you really want it up front. Having an adapter, just, I don't know, not as sleek looking as if I just had it go straight into the back. Personal opinion, maybe I'm crazy, but I do wish they had built in the adapter. The Fire TV Cube, the main standout point hardware-wise, past the Echo and all that from the pendant, is the addition of some additional storage. So you can put in, if you sideload more stuff, or more apps, more games, which is pretty cool. I hope Roku does that. Roku needs to put a little bit more storage in. That'll be a cool feature there. So overall, I'll get that thumbs up. The Fire TV Cube is good. Wish the Ethernet. I haven't had any issues. I think if you have anybody in your family with visual or physical disabilities, check it out. This is quite nice. I know Roku's coming out with one later, but I think, often if you have sight, if you have good mobility, you may not think about, hey, how to watch TV is something that can be difficult to some people. Increasingly with these voice control programs, I'm hearing from people who have these issues that it's really revolutionizing the thing. Having the Echo built into the Fire TV Cube, I know you could link things and do different things in the past. With the IR blaster where it can control the volume, it can turn on and off your TV, do all that. I think this is probably one of the best streaming players for people with certain physical disabilities. So Amazon, cool. You probably should promote that maybe. That could be a good selling point for you. And I'll be interested to see how they have a similar version coming here later this summer into the fall. So hey, let's keep going. But let me know, what do you think of the Fire TV Cube? AT&T Watch TV. So we've heard about this for a while. $15 service. Going to use a lot of Turner products. Last week, the president, CEO, whatever his job title is, over at AT&T said it was going to be announced this week. Some people had said it was going to be released this week. If you watched my Q&A this week, you would notice I had said, hey, pump the brakes, probably not releasing this week, just being announced. I was right. So we got an announcement, but it feels rushed. AT&T, you don't need to rush this. Take your time, get it right. Just saying. But AT&T made a partial announcement this week. They say it's going to be announced next week, and often there were things like more details to come. So there's going to be two new AT&T wireless plans, both called Unlimited and More and Unlimited and More Premium. Sounds like the Unlimited plan with AT&T Watch TV included. Question being, is this replace the Unlimited plan, or is this a additional, like you have the current Unlimited and then Unlimited and More being like the even higher? Verizon just did that, but they offered a bunch of like extra data and streaming and some other things on it that are included. Like you get 25 gigabytes of hotspot every month with their slightly higher, or their base package with no hotspot. So it's $15 a month, but they said the standalone service details will come later. For now, it sounds like next week it's only going to be offered with the AT&T Unlimited and More packages. It will include a good lineup of channels. CNN, so it's got news, something that a lot of people wanted. I know it has BBC and Cheddar, but a lot of people have been asking for like a CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. It's got CNN. If that holds you over, you're great. But it's got A&E, AMC, BBC America, Cartoon Network, Hallmark Channel, Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, HGTV, Lifetime, TLC, True TV, and more. It's a pretty nice lineup there. It's 30 plus channels in total. I just talked about a few. I did not see locals listed. It will also come with 15,000 on-demand hours. Hey, that's a pretty cool deal. Currently, they're only talking about being on phones and on computers. They said, now, this wasn't necessarily in the press release, but in some of the stories that from people who had interviews, I didn't ask this. Their PR rep didn't tell me this, but I've seen other people talk about it from credible news groups, is that AT&T Watch will have an app based on the DIRECTV Now app. Does that mean that in the near future, you just be able to use your AT&T Watch login on DIRECTV Now? That would make sense. Are they going to rebrand the DIRECTV Now app? That would make sense. But AT&T just have you log into the DIRECTV Now app and just display the channels you pay for. That's what you should do. AT&T also said that more channels like Nicktoons, BET, and MTV2 will all be coming at a later date. So it feels a little rushed. I just kind of want to be like, okay, pump the brakes, AT&T. Get this right. We don't need another DIRECTV Now fiasco. And people will be just excited 3 weeks from now as they will next week. But In 3 weeks now, if you get it right, they'll be much happier and they'll stay with you. If you launch it and you screw it up, people may not forgive you again. Just my warning to AT&T. Get this right. Take your time. If I could say on the board with AT&T and say, hey, what would I do? I'll say, hey, you're rushing. You seem desperate to get this out. I get it. You probably want to get a return on your investment from buying Time Warner. Just get it right. And that's my 2 cents. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Hey, next up, speaking of the world of TV. Oh, one thing I want to go back to AT&T. AT&T Watch reconfirms my belief that DIRECTV Now, DIRECTV, everything about TV at AT&T is about selling cell phone plans. They want you to get a cell phone plan from them because even getting 2 or 3 lines, 4 lines, a whole family pack is much more profitable here than it is to watch TV. So look for this to become increasingly. Dish is launching a home internet. Look for them to try to bundle these because selling a 5G service would be, with a slightly discounted Sling TV is a great way to get you into a higher profit service. So keep that in mind. Next up, T-Mobile is struggling to get their own TV service. This week, T-Mobile released a statement to federal regulators about their intended plans to buy Sprint and why they should buy Sprint, and basically their argument for making that deal get approved. One of the things they included is, so T-Mobile bought Layer 3 and announced, hey, we're going to disrupt TV. What they've kind of said is, hey, we've discovered that Layer 3 is paying 20 to 30% more in fees versus the rivals. BRG, who spotted that, said that if you look at it compared to like PlayStation View, YouTube TV, their 40-hour channels, T-Mobile would have to charge $50 for the same tech package. They don't have the size that these content creators want to give you the best deals. T-Mobile's hoping to use Sprint to get bigger, but that kind of gives you a nice look into the world of TV. A lot of it, bigger TV companies get better deals because they have more customers. It's not that much different than the other. Walmart gets a big deal because if you're a mom and pop shop, you may buy 1,000 of something. Walmart may buy 200,000 of something. Economy of scale here does still apply to TV. And if I am Sling and I can partner my contract negotiations with Dish, I can come in here and say, hey, Dish still has millions and millions of subscribers and Sling has a couple million now. And you can say, hey, we got this millions and millions to, I don't know what Layer 3 has, but let's say it's hundreds of thousands at most. Could have millions. I could be wrong. I don't know. But let's just say a few 100,000 for an example. Hey, we have 100,000, 200,000 people. That's a pretty decent number for, a smaller cable co. I lived in a town where the cable co was just in our town. Versus Dish with multi-millions. So there's a really interesting letter here. I have a link to the full thing and some of the details in the show notes down below. I would encourage you to read it. It kind of gives you a great look at why cord cutting, why these live TV streaming services do what they do and where they go. So check it out. I really just wanted to point that out. It's interesting. I still expect T-Mobile to launch something this year. The question is, what will it look like? We don't know. Next up, PBS. This is big news for a lot of people. PBS is in talks with Sling TV, DIRECTV Now, Hulu, PlayStation View, and more. So PBS has always been a holdout. Yeah, you can get on-demand content for free and live over there. Some people can get the live over there. Some people just want it streaming live. And some people just want one app to reproduce their whole cord-cutting cable experience. Now with this, their chief content officer this week announced that, hey, we are in talks. They didn't list them all, but basically the way he worded it made it sound like they've at least approached all the services, be like, hey, what do it take? Some they've had bigger talks with than others, but they're looking at it. They hope to have a deal done by this year. Now, end of this year. That doesn't mean it'll launch this year. So once the deal's done, you still have to go physically set up each station, and that could be complicated. I'll get to that in a moment. But PBS's chief digital officer said it's important for us to be up with the other networks on live TV streaming services so that we're not forgetting. The question is, how do we do that? He talked a lot about how they're worried in 5 years, if they're not there, people may just start watching the Science Channel, Discovery, Curiosity Stream, and other services that offer great educational programming, other kids services. They talked a little bit about the idea that maybe PBS Kids could be the first one because that's a national feed. There's no local. He said that many streaming services just want a national PBS feed, but their contracts with their local affiliates, they want to offer the local affiliates. But a lot of these affiliates are very small. A lot of their equipment is very old. My local PBS station is shut down. They talked about how their equipment is extremely old and it's very difficult to them to partner with the newer systems. So you may have to see some of these newer networks coming in and having to build out networks to work with or build out their equipment to be able to connect into a service like a Sling TV, PlayStation View. Because often these are different connections from the cable version. So the cable version may be one thing, the streaming one is another. PBS says they've created a board of both large, medium, and small PBS affiliates to give feedback on how they want to do this. And they're going to continue their negotiations with different contents. There is even more than this that I'm getting to. It was a very long article. I have a link to it in the show notes down there if you want to read all the details about PBS coming to a possible live TV streaming service. But this would be the last major local to hold out. And the interesting thing here is them saying, we're worried about being left behind. We're worried about people deciding we just don't need PBS anymore. We found other things. I think that's a real warning. That's a real warning to other stations who are maybe not getting on the bandwagon as quickly as others are. That, hey, you can easily be replaced. There is no reason why we need you anymore. There are still 500 channels, and their streaming service, Curiosity Stream, is a great educational channel from the guy who created the Discovery Network back in the day when it first launched. I mean, if you're an anime, Crunchyroll. Who needs two Nami and Cartoon Networks? Crunchyroll has all the anime you could ever want. Funimation, or there's other ones too. I apologize. I'm not exactly the expert on anime, but you get the ideas. ESPN is now even going direct. I know it's not exactly what we want, but it's a step in the right direction. We're making progress. We're going forward. So, hey, PBS and others, take note. We're also seeing even smaller locals like Comet TV coming to streaming services. I know there's still some like MeTV that are not. I love MeTV. I wish it was available. It's in an area where I'm just a little weak on this antenna. So, good news. Cord cutting is getting better. It's getting easier. Maybe next year we'll start seeing PBS come live. Fingers crossed, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But hey, what do you think? What were your top favorites here? Let me know. Also, this upcoming July 21st, it's a Saturday up in Dallas, Texas. We're going to be celebrating our 5th anniversary of the launch of CoreCarsNews.com. All the staff and a couple freelancers are going to be coming in. My family's going to be there. We're going to maybe have a couple guests. But we're going to have some food. There's going to be a little punch and that kind of stuff. There'll be a bar if you want to buy a drink. But the food and the punch will be free. We'll love to have you come join us. And hey, let's talk some cord cutting. I want to shake your hand. I'd love to meet you. Grab some food. It's going to be a beautiful place. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful day. We can celebrate 5 years of cord cutting together. I'd love to have you join us. Don't forget, every Friday, these weekly recap shows. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern are cord cutting Q&As. I'd love to have you join us. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Hit that thumbs up. It really helps. See you next week.